It's been a minute since we did an Ask Me Anything, responding to your questions and comments, but this time we did it on Instagram. I'm curious what you're gonna ask me. Huge thanks to Chime for sponsoring this video. Let's get started. Be-whoop. What is something in medicine that you think is a weak link and needs more research? I want better numbers for what is a true vitamin D deficiency. I want it to be restudied. I want a validated answer on if improving past normal with vitamin D supplementation actually helps. Yes, I know if your vitamin D level's down in the dumps, like level 5, 10, and you improve it to normal, you get better outcomes in certain scenarios. But if your level is 29 and you boost it to 80, does that do anything? I don't have a clear evidence-based answer for that. Another one, do we really need, still to this day, to treat every single basic strep throat with antibiotics to prevent rheumatic fever? We used to need to do that, but should we reevaluate this decision? I think so. Can not taking a shower for a week or so cause any medical issues?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I mean, if you're covered in fecal material because you work at a farm or you spray chemicals for a living, yeah, that could pose a danger. But the average person, I mean, maybe you could get some folliculitis, some acne, some skin things, but in general, low risk proposition, I think, for most. Most BS health advice you've heard from a medical professional. It has to be Dr. Stephen Gundry coming on as a cardiothoracic surgeon and saying, like, people lived these really long lives because they smoked. I'm not mincing words here. He said they lived long lives because they smoked. Here's the clip.
And you live longer if you smoke in some of these areas.
But that's not, it's not because if you smoke, it's in spite of smoking.
No, you're wrong.
Does the appendix do anything, or is it there to bless your day with appendicitis? I don't know whoever had appendicitis and said, what a blessed day. Yeah, I mean, the idea is that it helps with a little bit of immunity. It holds some of your gut microbiome in there. So if you have, this is like a little bit of a theory, but it holds some of your gut microbiome in there. If you have a really bad diarrhea episode or you take antibiotics, it can replenish your gut microbiome. In general, it's like more of a supporting cast rather than a leading role in the play that is your body. If you got a text message saying, help, you ate me, but I'm not being digested, how would you reply? Give me a second, I'm gonna go get some Ipecac and rescue you. Aww. If you know, you know. Roshan333, which is generally better for you, drinking sodas and sugary drinks or eating candy? I'm gonna have to say candy, because at least they'll fill you up. Sugar sweetened beverages, just kind of, you can keep chugging them and not even realize how many calories you're getting. What is the best fast food restaurant health-wise? Ooh, God, is it gotta be Subway? Just cause like you can really control your portions on there, get a wide variety of vegetables. Let me just think fast food, Chipotle.
Oh my God, I love Chipotle. Chipotle is my life.
It's a lot of sodium and a lot of the country. I'm gonna put it as a tie between Subway and Chipotle. If you have better recommendations, hit me with them. Is it safe to stay on a birth control pill until menopause for pain? There are obviously contraindications, reasons why you shouldn't be on a birth control. There are certain scenarios where there could be higher risks for side effects from the birth control that maybe you shouldn't be on them until menopause. There's a world where you shouldn't be on them, period. Think about clotting risk, smoking, migraine with aura, certain cancer history. Like, there are reasons why we don't just reflexively prescribe them without first doing a thorough history and physical. But in general, yeah, it's fine. And the CDC's guidance on this is like up to age 50 to 55 or menopause. The problem is it's hard to know when menopause is when you're on a birth control because you might not have a period. And getting blood work for like a hormone FSH might not be reliable either. So 50 to 55 is a good guideline. Who is your favorite dog? Newfie Pups ask this. Your children can't ask you who your favorite child is. That's like illegal. Can you explain how fiber makes you poop? It gives you a really good pep talk to your colon and it goes, come on, poop, Depending on the type of fiber, insoluble, soluble, you could have stool bulking that actually adds bulk to your stool that helps push everything through. Soluble fiber, which actually brings liquid in to help stabilize that environment. Plus, it creates a good lining for your gut. It acts almost like a gel. Fiber is awesome. And it's not just about making you poop. People assume that the healthy part of fiber is just about poop. It actually can help improve your gut, which also can help you poop in terms of gut microbiome. But it could also change the way that your body digests and absorbs sugars. So there's a lot of variables here that make fiber quite valuable to your body. How do you have such great hair all the time? Well, thank you so much. I think it's solid. It's also going gray, but I do have a secret about my hair that I'm reluctant to share. Can you guess what it is? Comment down below. Is taking creatine just hype or is it effective? Creatine is one of the most evidence-based sports supplements out there. Number one is actually caffeine. So interesting enough. People misunderstand what it means for it to be effective. If you're a professional athlete, a 5% improvement in certain performance metrics is huge. So for the average person, do I think they need to take creatine and do I recommend it? Probably not. I would first encourage that they actually become continuous with their workouts, find a type of workout that they love, find a way to mix it up, focus on their nutrition, and only when all that plus their sleep is figured out would I then start saying potentially talking about creatine or any other supplement for that matter. And when it comes to mental health and all the stuff that is being said about that, way too premature to say that openly and confidently. And yet, people are doing it nonstop and drawing huge conclusions from just the smallest, hyper-specific, imperfectly done, low-quality studies. Oh, this is a good one. What organ ages the fastest? I would probably say that it is your
Skin, your epidermis.
not in the way that you think it, but because it gets shed so frequently. You know what heals very quickly? Your
mouth, your mucosal organs.
The fact that it heals quickly could mean that it ages quickly. I'm probably gonna say skin. Is it important to pee after sex? We say this and we were saying it. Where we're getting that is not really from research. We're kind of just like pulling expert opinion on the matter. I think it's a benign enough thing to do, but does it actually work in terms of decreasing UTIs? Meh. Mohica K, how do you respond to someone that says vaccines cause autism, etc. concisely? How do you do it concisely? You say that is not true. That is not what the evidence shows, not just here in the US, but internationally as well, through dozens of studies, hundreds of thousands of children. I can only give you advice based on what the data shows. And the data very clearly shows no causation between vaccines and autism. I feel like my friends and family are being tricked into wanting/needing electrolyte packets. Absolutely true. I cannot fathom how big this business has gotten and how much everyone thinks they're electrolyte depleted from walking on a treadmill for 20 minutes. You need to sweat enormously to lose enough salt and potassium to warrant repletion. Most people are not working hard enough as it is in their workouts and long enough to need that. And B, a lot of us are over consuming electrolytes on a daily basis. So having even more can be potentially really harmful, especially for those with medical conditions. In fact, there are companies that have reached out to me that want to work with us, that want to pay us a huge sum of money to promote their electrolyte powders, but we will not work with them because they are out there telling everyone that everyone needs electrolyte repletion, and that is just furthest from the case. They are lying about the evidence. Speaking of money, I want to tell you about Chime, America's #1 choice for banking, offering a smarter way to manage your money. I always want to make sure that my money isn't just sitting still as it literally becomes less valuable by the day. So the goal is to make sure that all your apps, credit cards, banks, etc. are making money work for you. With the Chime Card, you can actually get 5% cash back in the category of your choices, whether that be gas, groceries, or my favorite, travel. It honestly feels like I'm on an airplane every week at this point, so getting 5% cash back on my travel costs can really add up. There's no annual fee, and not to mention travel perks like lounge access and 24/7 concierge service with the Chime Card That's not too bad either. You could also get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit, access 47,000 plus fee-free ATMs nationwide, and earn 3.75% APY on savings, which is actually 9 times the national average. So click the link in the description or scan this QR code to make the switch to Chime and get up to a $350 bonus with a new Chime checking account. All right, let's get back to the questions. Ooh, what up, Cole? Medically speaking, what is your favorite racetrack to drive? Ooh. Medically speaking, I like the longer racetracks. Coda, perhaps, because there are long straightaways where you can catch your breath, get your breathing under control, thereby decreasing the hypersympathetic response that I'm having. Anna Van Heard. Can I get a free chest compression shirt? Okay. I guess I'll DM you back and send you a shirt. Sure. What's your shipping address? Advice you give patients who have health-related anxiety. I love this notion of staying alert, not anxious, because by arming patients with information on what to look out for, it immediately lowers anxiety. With knowledge and understanding, anxiety disappears. So will that work for everyone? No, but I feel like by getting a good level of education, understanding on what to be on the lookout for, it can arm you to feel more confident, thereby lowering anxiety. How much time do you actually spend practicing medicine these days? Half of the week. So I work half of the week as a physician seeing patients and clinical faculty at Atlantic Health Overlook Medical Center Family Medicine Residency, where residents, multiple, will be seeing patients at once, coming in, and I will precept them in hearing about the case, listening to their presentation, giving them tips, guidance. If they need support in performing a procedure, think IND, ingrown toenail removal, pap smear, all those things, I'll come in and help them out. So it's a very fun job, and it's very rewarding because I continually work at a community health center helping out people who are truly in need. What do you live for? Oh man, this is a deep one. To take in the maximal amount of human life experience that I can during my short time on Earth. What prenatals are most important and when to start taking them? When you're considering to become pregnant, earlier is always better. And the idea is to take folic acid containing prenatals that reduce neural tube defects in children. So very important to get that taken care of. It's actually a supplement that I do recommend. See, I'm not anti-supplement. Rowana VC, do you recommend the whole body MRI like Pernuvo? I think we need to be very careful about how we talk about these whole body branded company of scans. They're very smart in that they're recommending their test as a marketing thing for the general population. And they very clearly say that if you're having symptoms, let's say a headache that you want evaluated, they don't want you to get their scan to evaluate a problem. They just want it to be kind of a generalized screening thing for your own entertainment, because there's no clear way that they can say with confidence from the research that their test improves life, that it's better than any other test on the market. And that to me is an issue. So I don't generally recommend whole body MRIs for patients unless there's a specific reason for why we're doing it. A genetic condition, family condition, etc. So no, for the average healthy person, I don't like whole body MRIs. I think high risk of false positives, high risk of anxiety producing benefits, and a surefire risk for them to become wealthy by scaring the bejesus of the general population. I even had the founder of Pernuvo on, and he couldn't answer some very basic questions about why celebrities were endorsing their scans. To me, that adds even more questions that I have. And before I recommend anything for my patients, I want my questions answered.
Paris Hilton, all these celebrities, they're paying for their tests out of pocket.
I mean, I don't run it, so I'm not sure who paid and who didn't pay, but like...
Pranali. Can I wear you as a hat? What does that mean? Dan, you're good at these.
It's an ambiguous sexual comment.
Okay. Guess no. The answer is no. No consent. How to get rid of my fear of water. First of all, we have to make sure that this hydrophobia is not caused by rabies, because one of the symptoms of end-stage rabies is hydrophobia. But if you have a basic mental health phobia of water, the evidence-based answer to that is exposure therapy. You build up your exposure to water and get comfortable with different levels of it until you can actually go into water or whatever this final step is. Think about it like a video game. The final boss would be getting into the water. Early stages is just saying the word water without feeling nervous, then looking at a picture of water, then drawing water, then having a splash of water, and working your way up to be able to control your emotional state all the way as you get to the top. Vixen Viper 721, how contagious is the pink eye? It depends what's causing your pink eye. Some people have allergic conjunctivitis, which is not contagious at all. But then some people have viral conjunctivitis, maybe even bacterial conjunctivitis, and those can be quite contagious, which is why when someone gets pink eye, we say don't share pillows, don't share makeup. A lot of people assume every red eye is pink eye, and just because the eye is pink does not mean that it's a pink eye. It could also be a red eye, which could be a subconjunctival hemorrhage. Charlotte 252842, have you ever done open heart surgery on a 1-year-old? Family medicine. No. No, never did open heart surgery on a 1-year-old. What are your thoughts on peptides? I think it's a complicated topic. There's peptides that have been prescription for a long time, insulin, now GLP-1s, Ozempic. The idea of where peptides are going now is really disappointing because I'm watching the FDA be corrupted by RFK and people who very clearly have a financial interest in the stuff. I'm doing a whole video on that. It's sad to see because all the people that support RFK are part of the MAHA movement that hate the corruption that exists in the pharmaceutical industry. But now they're bringing that corruption to the less regulated supplement industry. And it's only going to make things worse. All the problems that they hated with the pharma industry are going to be just multiplied now under RFK. When will you make another roast me video? I mean, I'm down to do it again. Like if you think you're creative enough, maybe hit me down below in the comments and we'll do it off of this comment section. So I'm down. I'm up for the challenge. I'm down and up for the challenge. Broski333, if a tick bites you, does that automatically mean you got Lyme disease? Not automatically. In fact, it takes a good amount of time. The Borrelia bacteria lives in the gut of the tick, so it requires time for the juices to mix with the blood before it's able to transmit that bacteria to the human. So it needs to be attached for at least, we say 24 hours, sometimes even longer than that, in order for it to transfer Lyme disease, which is why if you see a tick early on and you do a tick check and you get rid of it, it really lowers the chance of you developing the condition. And there are certain instances where if we do see a tick bite, we can give a single course of doxycycline antibiotic in order to decrease the risk of transmission, but we try not to do that willy-nilly because we don't want to create antibiotic resistance. In fact, I had a really interesting patient with an incredibly high fever that I want to tell you about. Click here to check that out. And as always, stay happy and healthy.